This is Unscripted from the living room. Bit of an impromptu, impulsive, no really plan discussion other than just the topic. I want to talk about something that I've been dealing with and succumbed to. If my friends or if they're watching, they know me. Trust me, I'm famous for this kind of stuff. But I want to talk to anyone in the world who struggles with or is being consumed by the monster of gonna say it, gas. It's a serious thing. Gas means gear acquisition syndrome. So it's like the acquiring of gear. Like it could be anything. It could be like things I obsess over is work boots. I've said it in my first video. Guitars, amps, modelers, whatever niche thing I'm into, I obsess over acquiring more and more. And throughout the years, like I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you stories a little later, but I just want to premise the topic. It's a serious thing because for me, the obsession with acquiring pieces, it's like, oh, when I get this guitar, I'll finally write this beautiful song, and then you get it, and the gear's so cool, it feels so great, and then the novelty wears off pretty quickly, quicker than you think. And then this is the addiction part. I'm not an addiction like counselor, so like I refer to it as addiction. But the addictive part of gear acquisition syndrome is you get something you really want and you do love it, like you keep it, hopefully you keep it, and then but the novelty wears off and you end up chasing thing after thing, and nothing ever satisfies you because eventually you end up in a position where you have a shit ton of stuff. If you have a decent job, like you can live your whole life buying whatever you want and not really feeling the consequences, because if you can afford things, no, there's nothing wrong with having a room full of shoes and Nike Jordans. That's another thing that's very similar. I understand collection things, collector items, but if you can afford it, if you can pay your bills, you save like this, nothing wrong with it. But for people who are like me, this is where it's a problem, and I don't see a lot of videos talking about it. There are some videos, but like for me, tell you the real truth, I want nothing more than a new guitar, a new amp. I fantasize over having my own rehearsal room, private rented, having giant speakers, having lights everywhere and all this stuff. Like all my friends can come play music. It's a beautiful life. And that's possible if I have enough money. But I don't, and this is where the problem for me used to be. And I finally don't feel that like monster has a grip on me, like the gas monster. I don't really feel it has a grip on me anymore because I'm actually just sick of seeing how much gear's out there, how much people are being paid to sponsor all these. I don't want to ever talk shit about people, but like gear channels, they all release the exact same video on the same day, exact same time. I understand like that's their business, like that's their job, and I support that. Work, right? But for the consumer, for the person, for the 16-year-old kid who wants to buy a laptop, buy interface, get a cool plugin, dude, I'm telling you, you only need one thing. You only need one or two guitars to make all types of music. You only need one amp, or sorry, as far as plugins go, you need one plugin that has multiple amps. But that sounds like a little, oh, you don't need all that. You can do everything on one amp. If you want to do it all, like write all the types of music you want, right, guitar-wise or rock-wise, you literally need one plugin. And it's nice if you have multiple plugins, different sounds, different this, different that, but you're better off just picking one thing and sticking with it, one thing you really like. And it gets to you. Because in my case, I've had probably, one day I might tally up and write down the list of all the guitars I've had. I've had some great guitars that I actually deeply miss like as if they're a person, because the guitar itself was just a piece of wood and some metal, but it was a moment in my life where whether I was younger and I was more aspirational, or everything felt new, and like it was just these guitars just happened to show up. I happened to get them, and the thing that hurts me, that I did to myself, is I would buy them, get loans, go to loan places, get fronts from friends, sell things, and then I'd buy them. And then this is my friends know this. They'll know, they understand. I am famous for this. I'll buy a guitar for $500. 3 months later, get broke because I'm spending my money at McDonald's, and then I'll sell it for $200. And I'd done that for 15 years, to tell you the truth. And this is the consequence of my gear acquisition syndrome. Because, like, in this case for me, my brain was telling me my biggest priority in life was to get gear, get this. This is gonna change everything. I could finally make music. I could finally do what I want. I want to feel. I want to look like a certain way. I want to look and feel complete, right? And I was going far below broke buying gear, and that's where the danger of this kind of phenomenon happens. And I just want to spread my. I don't want to do like a woe. Like I hate. I don't want to feel ever like my stories are like woe is me, but I just feel like a lot of you might have a similar situation where, like I was saying, like maybe you're obsessed over collector Nike Jordans, where a single shoe that you're not even gonna wear, you're just gonna put on a shelf, it costs like $3,000. You know, if you're rich, nothing wrong. But if you're going broke, you're doing this and that, and it's a problem. I'm trying to make you feel like you're not alone, and also like, honestly, get this shit under control. Like, because it will destroy your life, and it'll take and really the reason why I'm happy that I don't obsess over gear anymore, and I look at gear as like, if I had this, what would I do with it? And I could tell myself, oh, I'd do the same thing I already do with my other 2 guitars, and that's logic. And where the addictive, the gear addict, they defy their own logic. And I'm not saying they, like this is how it worked in my brain. I'm just referring to talking to camera. And you defy your own logic and you rationalize why it's, oh, I'll go against it. And that's a really wishy-washy way of thinking in your life, man. I'm not a counselor. I've been to therapy a lot my whole life, and I remember what therapists teach me, and I don't seem like I remember a lot, but I actually remember pretty much everything. And I've learned this for myself. And when you defy your own logic, like, and you go against this, it's a slippery slope, man. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect, and I just want to make it aware. Like, don't let the world or the marketing campaigns or social media or looking at your best friend who has for my case, like say, none of my friends really have this, but like say they have a vault full of collector guitars or a wall full of amps, and that's your dream. And if you really want that, you could work hard, get a high paying job and get that. But that's like, multiple people have told me, and it's true. I just resisted it my whole life. You can only play one guitar at a time. You can only play through one amp at a time. You can have pedals and stuff, whatever. But like, keep your herd low. Like, keep your herd small, man. Like, and make sure what you have, you actually fully utilize. Like, you'll be surprised. Like, I'm a big believer. Like, guitars from China, like guitars like from certain Asian countries, like 20 years ago, were like hit and miss. To my knowledge, from what I've played, like Korea's been really good, I think, the whole time. But like China was really shit. I'm not trying to make fun of like other countries, but they were pumping out really crappy guitars, crappy quality. And I'm telling you, guitars these days are seriously affordable budget. This is the golden age of music, like for the average Joe, average Jonette, or Joan, average Joan. Like, you can get a lot of value for these days that are high quality. And I'm telling you, before you obsess over a new item, think about, what have I not used my current thing I already have? What have I not figured out with it? Like, what have I not achieved? Like, have I ran the whole mile with this piece of item I already have, whatever it is? Have I already written a song with it? And I've only written one song my whole life, and I'm kind of ashamed of it because I've been playing guitar for 15 years. But that one song I really like. But like, before you obsess over the next thing, like, think, like, have you wrung the towel dry before like, have you wrung it dry? Have you wrung everything you have out of it? And for me, a lot of the time, and this is very common, this is like a common denominator when you talk to people with gas, they it's kind of common sense, but when you're in it, you don't notice it, or you notice it, but you're in denial, kind of. You want something new because you're not fulfilling what you truly want to do with what you already have. So you subconsciously think the next thing is going to spark that flame. It's going to spark the fireworks are going to go off, and you're going to suddenly do everything you ever wanted to do. And I'm telling you, if you're in a boat where you're underwater with, like, if you're financially, like, emotionally, like, your life feels underwater because of this syndrome, or uncertified syndrome. I think it's a real mental condition, like disorder. But we'll see what time says. But if you're underwater and you know you're underwater, and you have been for a long time, or you just started, my word of advice is, just appreciate what you have, and just use what you have. And I'm telling you, if it's guitars, a good setup, and learn to set up yourself, because it's actually not that hard. It's not scary. All you need is a couple screwdrivers and Allen keys. But seriously, for guitar sense, make sure you stretch your guitar strings really well. First of all, that'll make it feel and play astonishingly better. You don't understand how much stretch those strings affect your guitar playing and feel. And set your guitar up nice. Make sure that it's intonated. Make sure when you fret, like, your action height, set it how you like it, and figure out what you like. Don't just bounce from gear to gear. Like, and I'm telling you, the biggest lie, all these companies, I don't want to talk negative about companies because they're just businesses. They're just doing what they do. But what I found is, as far as high gain amps, there is some pretty drastic differences. But I don't want to. There's one channel I learned a lot from, and I'm not going to say names. I don't want to name names on my channel. But if you're a guitar guy or girl, and you'll probably know this guy, he's quite loud. I'll just say that. But you play a high gain amp, you either put it in a mix or you play in a live setting. No one can tell what amp you're playing. Only the super guitar geek is staring at the stage trying to figure out what gear you're using. That's not your average listener. You're making music. You're not performing to impress other music lovers. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I want to do. I want to make a atmosphere for anyone in the world to listen to music. And when I get obsessed with gear, that vision goes away. I just fiend. I'm a fiend. I fiend for new pickups that's gonna change everything, and this and that. And like, I'm going on a unscripted ramble. That's kind of, you guys should know this by now. But my advice for this is, if you got gas, just gear acquisition syndrome. Like, first of all, I realize you have it, and stopping it, for me, no self-talk, no changing my narrative, changing the way I look at gear, no amount of like self-rationalization stopped it. And I'm not saying this is how it works. This is what happened for me. One day I just woke up and I was sick of seeing the same thing from every company, bombarded on Facebook of ads for the same amp. Oh, but it looks different. But you plug it in and it's just another amp. And the world is so advanced with marketing. They'll get you, man, and that's how they do it. But to no fault, like the business is a business, but like I have respect. But like one day I woke up and I just was sick of seeing everything. It's all the same. It's all been done, and as what exists is great. But when there's carbon copies, there's like 50 carbon copies of the same thing. It's like, oh my god. One day I just got sick of it, and I looked at my rack. I looked at my 1 or 2 plugins I have, my speakers I've had for 3 or 4 years now, and my $150 interface, and I'm like, this is all I need, man. You know, because like for the level of musician, I don't consider myself a musician. I consider myself right now a guitar player. I want to be a songwriter. I don't want to be a musician. I want to be a songwriter. That's what my goal is. But you gotta look at what is your needs as far as what gear do you need? Like, are you playing live? Are you just a bedroom guitarist? Nothing's wrong with either one. Like, a bedroom guitarist might need 1 or 2 guitars, maybe a single coil or a humbucker, or 2 guitars with humbuckers if you're into hard rock or metal, just different, maybe different sounds, different scale lengths, different 1/7, 1/6, 1/7, 1/8. But think of gear as utility, right? Think of the gear you have as having a purpose. Don't think of it just as looking at it to feel proud by how much you have, and the obsession with that's greed. And it's just wanting to have more to look at, and it's human nature, man. Seriously. But gonna try to close this up here. I'm just trying to talk to you guys like a brother, about this stuff, because I've had so many people tell me you gotta cool your jets, bro. Gotta cool the jets on this gear stuff, and I didn't listen. And one day I just woke up and I don't care about it anymore. I'm happy with what I got, and that's pretty much it. There's not really an answer. The answer to this situation we have with gear acquisition syndrome, you just gotta get sick of yourself. Get sick of fucking something. Let it wear off. Because when you let it get to you, it's a fire, and it's just pouring gasoline on itself, and you just gotta walk away one day. You just gotta let yourself not give in to the ads, give in to the fantasizing in your head, dreaming, and going on Marketplace before bed for 2 hours looking at deals that you don't actually need. That's all stuff I do. So I'm just saying what I do, and I do more stuff too. You wouldn't believe how much gear I've seen in my life on YouTube that I don't even want. I thought I wanted, but I actually don't even want it. If someone gave it to me, I'd say, thanks, man, and give it to someone else who would actually use it for free. Because I know what I like, and what I like is pretty simple. But ultimately, for the gear acquisition syndrome, my best advice is let it come to an end. Just be happy with what you got. Make the most of what you got. And if you actually fulfill what you have to the full potential, you'll probably realize the gas goes away. And that's kind of what I noticed, right? But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.